Boelter Jones, Pro Football Hall of Famer, top 100.
Tyler Lockett from the Seattle Seahawks.
DK Metcalf.
Dave Burleson. You're watching NorbCam.
NorbCam.
You're watching NorbCam.
What's up, everybody? This is NorbCam coming at you on this Sunday with some breaking news. And yes, I am wearing my mask today. Actually, I don't need to because I'm inside the studio, but I wanted to show these to you. These are made by my good friend over in Germany, Haggy, with Solemade, Solemade. He made these personally, handcrafted these masks. Special NorbCam masks. In fact, I might give a couple of these away to some future trivia winners for those of you who decide to play the game. But yes, it's a special handcrafted NorbCam mask. It says Ultimate Hawks Fan. So it's pretty cool. So Haggy, thank you so much for doing these for me. I appreciate it, man. And there we go. All right. Heat me a little bit better. Okay. There we go. Now, let's talk here. Hey, everybody. Hope you're enjoying your weekend. I just wanted to just say thank you for you guys who are jumping on here real quick. A lot of you guys in the chat jumping on board. Fat Kid Ori, Andrew, Thea Rossman, Nick LeBeau, Eric, Quinn Murphy, Matthew, Cameron Hughes, Zach. I see Sam Dog. What's up, Sam Dog? You got that breaking news. I saw that a few people posted about it. I was a little slow to the game, but hey, here we are talking about it amongst a few things. But let's get right to the news breaking story that everyone's talking about, that the Patriots have signed Cam Newton. Yes, Cam Newton, who's been floating around, free agency, was released by the Carolina Panthers, and obviously a big change from the MVP winner of 2015, made it to Super Bowl 50 and kind of choked that game away, and has really been quiet ever since. But still, he remains a guy who can deliver if healthy, and that's the big question: is how healthy and how solid is he? But the Patriots decided to take a chance on him, and a relatively low cost here too. Only a 1-year deal with up to $7.5 million if he hits all of incentives. And for a quarterback, especially one who's had an MVP caliber season, that's a steal of a deal. That's a really steal of a deal. And really, he's there to compete with Jarrett Stidham, who's trying to fill in for Tom Brady. They're all trying to figure out who the next quarterback is going to be for Tom Brady. Will it be Cam Newton? That's the big question to be determined here. Does Cam Newton still have something left in the tank? And if so, how much? And will he, be able to, deliver and keep the winning tradition with the Patriots into 2020? That is the big question. But I think there's a bigger question that everyone's really wondering about, and that is, will Bill Belichick let Cam Newton wear those funky hats and outfits to press conferences? That's the question I really want to know. If I were to be a betting man, I would think that, knowing Bill Belichick and the way he runs things, a tight ship over there, maybe we won't quite see those types of outfits anymore, but who knows? We'll see. But given the fact that he's not the man anymore in terms of, he was kind of the star of the Panthers, he's just trying to compete for a job now over at the Patriots. So we shall find out if, in fact, there's even a season. That's still yet to be determined in the next couple of months. But that's not the only news that the Patriots had here in this the last few hours. And you guys go ahead and keep putting in the chats what you guys' thoughts are on Cam Newton going to the Patriots. Is this a game changer? Is this not going to make a difference? Were they already a playoff caliber team before they signed him? Or was it that when Tom Brady left, so did the winning tradition? Kind of would like to see what you guys' take is on it. But the other bit of news regarding the Patriots is, you guys remember the videotape-gate issue with the Patriots inadvertently taping the Cincinnati Bengals sideline back early last year? Well, that investigation had not been forgotten about. In fact, they finally came to the conclusion, the NFL did, and the Patriots are going to get a little bit of a slap, maybe more, on the wrist for what they did there. For, if you don't recall the story, their videotape crew, every team's got their crew that shoots the game film for their team. And the Patriots apparently were shooting a little bit too much of the Bengals sideline, where you could kind of catch the signals and maybe get a little leg up on things, which is, it's kind of funny to think the way the season turned out for the Bengals. Bengals barely, they got the number 1 draft pick, so they didn't have a great season. So it wasn't like they, felt like they needed to do that, but apparently they did. Maybe just leave no stone unturned, but they got caught videotaping the sideline of the Bengals. Sound familiar? New York Jets. So as a result of that, they got a $1.1 million fine, which not a big deal really. But they did lose a 3rd-round draft pick for next year, and their team production crews cannot film any games this season. So that, that little stuff can add up and have an effect on, game planning, and, that tape is part of it. I'm sure they'll find ways to get other game tape that won't be their own. Just tune into NFL, subscribe to that NFL, whatever you call it, Game Pass, and they get the 12, all 22 view. So anyway, but it did get a resolution there, and I'm actually glad to see that at least they came up with some punishments. It seems oftentimes a lot of things happen in off season that you just never really hear how things get resolved. In fact, speaking of the Patriots, I was wondering about, do you remember Michael Bennett and that Super Bowl incident, Super Bowl 51, where after the game was over, he stormed the field and apparently knocked over a grounds crew or a woman who was working security or something, and there was a whole criminal thing that was kind of getting figured out there. And to the life of me, I have not seen anything that ever happened with that story. Did Michael Bennett did they just wipe the case clean? They dropped the charges? But I never saw anything about whatever happened after that case. And then there's another one involving the Patriots. Oh, do you remember the MassageGate issue with the owner of Robert Kraft going down to a massage parlor down in Florida? He didn't get the happy ending to the previous season, so he was getting a happy ending of a different kind. But never heard about anything from that either. It just sort of kind of went away. Never kind of heard anything more about it after the news just sort of broke. A few days later, we got moved on to other things. But I was kind of wondering, whatever happened to those 2 cases? David Tarr. What's up, David? Oh, yeah, David. What's up, man? Cam the Ham is coming to New England, baby. Woo! I've had David on previous shows before, and I'm sure we may have to have a discussion about this in the future. Let's just see again. We talked about the Patriots after Tom Brady had made his decision to go to Tampa Bay. Discussed that a few weeks ago. Might have to talk about this and see what his take is on Cam Newton coming to the Patriots. How big of a thing is this? But it is crazy. Some of these things that happen in the offseason. Some of these things you forget about. It's just in this day and age, there's so much wild news, so much from one day to the next. You can't even keep up with how quickly these headlines change. And given there's so many pressing issues in the world front and center that are already controversial on the front of everybody's minds, these other little things just kind of easily get buried in the flow of the news cycle as it is right now. So anyway, that's good. I just want to break this out there, get a few thoughts of mine out there, as well as give you a chance to sound out some of your things. I see there's a beast mode in the comments. As a Patriots fan, I don't like this signing. I was never a big Cam Newton fan. I wouldn't be excited myself if Cam Newton were to come to Seattle to compete for a position. But then again, it is low risk. I mean, quarterback for at the max $7.5 million. That's a pretty good steal. When you were probably at some point in the last 2-3 years, we're probably expecting Cam Newton was going to sign some uber huge contract where he's getting paid, the 10 million and up range. You're getting him for under 10 million at the max of 7.5. That's a pretty good steal. And that's just to compete. So. Sports Live in the ATL in the house. Hey, Norb, awful signing by the Patriots. Well, so far, some of my familiar friends chiming in here says they don't think it's a good signing. I just think it's not. What do you got to lose, really? And just kick the tires around. I think he would have been signed earlier. I kind of say the same thing about Jadeveon Clowney. I think he would have signed earlier if this was a normal season and these guys would have had an opportunity to go and visit teams and actually get checked out with physicals and all that. And I just think when you have a player whose health is a question, much like Clowney, they want to really check out the goods and see how solid everything is before you put a bunch of money into it. And they just can't do that right now. So maybe Cam just decided this was the best thing that he could do given the circumstances. Maybe that was the best deal he could broker. Cameron Hughes in the chat says Cam Newton is greater than Jarrett Stidham. So there's one person who already believes that Cam Newton is the solution at quarterback for the Patriots. So we'll see. I've never been a huge fan, as I said, mostly because I was never a fan of his cockiness, his attitude, his showboatiness, and then how he can, on the flip side, when things don't go his way, he's the most pouty, whiny-looking guy in the field. So it's like it's all fine. You want to be the showboater and all confident, but you need to be able to keep that going even when things aren't going your way. And clearly, we've seen the best and the worst of Cam Newton. I can't stand Cam Newton either. I was so happy when Peyton Manning's Broncos defeated Cam Newton in Super Bowl 50. It's hard to imagine what would have been the NFC would have been like had Cam Newton and the Panthers won that one. It would have been we definitely would not be talking about Cam Newton signing with the Patriots for $7.5 million if they'd won that game. So that's pretty much it. I just want to add one little small something else here. With earlier today, I actually met up with members of my charity, Fans for Good, Sarah Bryan and Mark Collins, and we had a nice lunch with Brian and Tammy Edwards. And if you don't remember who Brian and Tammy Edwards are, I did a couple of videos talking about them. They were a couple here in the Pacific Northwest who Tammy was a nurse, and she had contacted the COVID-19 virus and then gave it to her husband, who became really sick, had to go into a medically induced coma, and they didn't think he'd make it. But then he eventually came out of it, was released out of the hospital, which I was there when he left the hospital and was able to see their reunion. Well, we got to see them for the first time in person since that reunion about 6 weeks ago, and we had a really nice chat. They talked about just how they're doing, and they're still on the road to recovery. This thing has had some long-lasting symptoms, but they're continuing to, fight through. And thanks to very generous donations by a lot of you fans out there, and in the Seahawks community, we were able to raise over $23,000 for them. So a lot of that money is going to help them as they're going through this adjustment time. But as a reminder, at least I don't know where you guys are watching from, but here in Washington, yes, we are under still a new order as of Friday, which was 2 days ago, that when you're in public, you gotta wear the mask. And a lot of people don't want to do it, but I think for a small inconvenience of putting this on when you go outside or in public places, really you don't have to have it all the time, just in public places. Hopefully people will be willing enough to make that little inconvenience. Otherwise, things are going to get worse, and we won't have football in the fall. Restaurants are going to close again. We might see us go back to phase one. So I hope people will take one for the team and do this so that we can all move forward and not take a step back. Anyway, that's it, you guys. Just real quick today with this breaking news, but I will be doing another live stream on Wednesday with the crew coming from Wazoo, actually. The boys, Cal and Noah, will be at the campus of Washington State University, broadcasting from there, and we'll have my guest host who won the trivia last time will be joining the show as well. So it's going to be a fun show on Wednesday. So come join. It'll be at a later time, about 6:30, I believe, for another trivia contest. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So unless something happens between now and Wednesday, most likely that will be the next show. But perhaps if anything breaks, I'll be all over it to bring it to you guys. Plus, I might be sneaking in a little Rivals video here in the near future, too, just to shake up that Seahawks-49ers rivalry and some other things like that. So hope you guys will tune in then. But for now, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, because it really helps me out, and hit that notification bell, and that way you'll be notified anytime a video like this comes your way. All right. Thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate it, guys. And I will talk to y'all later. Have a great rest of your weekend, and go Hawks.